hooray, we defeated the evil big bad who wasn't quite evil, but still got in our way.
No, she's pretty evil. In this game, at the very least, she's still pretty evil.
I mean, in terms of, like, grand scheme of things.
Okay, she's the most despicable, I would say, character. Yeah. Not necessarily the most. She's not trying to like conquer the world or anything like that. But
There's evil. There's pitiful. There's like deranged. I'd say she's deranged more so than evil.
May I ask though, why does she have such a reaction after we defeated her Pokemon?
Every Pokemon character does that.
John asked me a question why everyone freaks out whenever they lose a duel in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, but they didn't like physically revolt in
Yeah, they did.
Actually, maybe they did.
Draw monster god.
Now that I say that, well, you say that, but that was kind of a plot point about the Seal of Orichalcos. Oh, fuck the Leviathan arc, so hard.
Have you ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, John?
Not in its entirety.
It gets that bad.
After the dual disc enters, there is an explanation for it. There's a bit of weird kind of feedback, and in one case, Kaiba threatens to use this to commit suicide if Yugi attacks him. But then early on, you get stuff like Weevil Underwood or Insect or whatever his Japanese name is, who's just really, really, really freakish, even though he's literally just a guy who cheats at cards. I don't get it.
Enemy's dumb.
So one thing I really like about this scene right here is that beating her and knocking sense into her doesn't actually like fix her problem because she's still obsessed with beauty.
She goes. Then she basically goes comatose.
Yeah, which honestly, okay. So I really don't like what they do with Lusamine in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where she's basically just like you stop her. And, like, you find her in Ultra Space, and then you bring her... No, she falls out of Ultra Space and says, like, oh, Necrozma's too strong. And then you beat up Necrozma, and then she's fine, and everybody's happy-dory, and everybody learned their lesson, and lol, friendship saves the day, typical anime nonsense. And, I don't know, it feels like she didn't learn anything, but everybody forgives her anyway, like it's Dragon Ball Z or something. And
yeah, it's like, hear that, Vegeta?
Yeah. We're just going to let her marry Bulma now, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Guzma, I think, actually... a lot of people say that they don't like Guzma in this game as opposed to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, he specifically, like, helps you in Rainbow Rocket and stuff, but I feel like he is trying more to understand what went wrong in this game, and he's not just like, oh... No, people don't change how they... I do believe that people can change themselves, but not that quickly, I think. Like, it makes more sense for Guzma to be like, I'm going to disband Team Skull and think about my life for a little while than, oh, I'm a good guy now. It's too sudden for me.
Well, there are fundamental things about whoever you happen to be that aren't necessarily going to do a complete 180 no matter what your change in perspective is.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you say Lusamini's got this thing about beauty, but... she might not necessarily ever change that. She just might change her perception of what beautiful means,
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's hard.
Lily,
it's hard.
Drugs are beautiful.
It's hard to pin down these kind of things when you're operating within the confines of a story that has a limited amount of time to portray a complex character through what is essentially a very simple medium. But
yeah, there's only so deep that Pokemon characters can really go, because if you spend too much time on that, people will get bored. Even though other games, they spend that much time on it and people don't get bored, but whatever, Pokemon's special.
Made for younger kids who don't have the attention spans.
The best kind of characterizations are the ones that manage to tell a lot without necessarily spending a lot of time telling you things,
Yeah, I agree.
They make the most of the smallest details that they show.
Yeah.
And a lot of writers sort of shy away from actually attempting that by sticking to very big, very basic, very easy to understand concepts, which is what it sounds like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon does with a lot of their characters.
Yes, it does.
It tries to up the stakes by removing by making it a bigger story, and by doing that, it removes the character stuff that made this version so interesting.
The pitfall, though, is that there are a lot of people who don't really gel with subtlety, and this is in no way the story's problem. It's more the audience's problem, where you can present all the subtle little characterization aspects you want, but they might not get it unless you spell something out. Like,
all right, got to do the obligatory quick ball try.
Of course.
Yeah.
It never works, but
I love 2D Lily in the background.
come on. Aw.
Oh. That's it. I'm quitting Pokemon forever.
Well, that does remind me of I obviously have Pokemon Platinum already recorded for various reasons, and it took me a few times to get Giratina just because I was trying to be fancy. But I had, my normal Gem Slave out first because it's a ghost type. So I threw a Pokeball on the second turn after a quick ball. Full health, no stat conditions, shook 3 times, and then broke. And I was like, God damn, that would have been awesome if that happened.
It's like a 1 in, I think it might be roughly shiny odds to catch it at that point. But still, that would have been awesome. Also, Lunala is a bitch to catch because its ability, I think, halves the amount of damage it takes when it's at full health, I think. So the
Something
first
like
hit,
that.
so it's kind of like a not as good version of...
The Mimikyu.
Yeah, because theoretically you could one-hit KO Lunala. It's just stupid unlikely, pretty much. But thankfully, Lunala is also one of the newer legendaries, so...
its catch rate is significantly better than old games.
I think it's 45, and usually legendaries are 3. And the lower the number, the harder.
Well, 3 or 5, depending on which one it is.
Yeah.
I remember the one time I tried to catch Mewtwo without using my Master Ball on him.
Ha!
Don't you love how in Gen 1 it has to have a status effect, otherwise they'll swat the ball away, and you don't get it back.
Or just flat out fucking misses, which is, I did that in my SGP playthrough of Gen 1, where I deliberately threw out the Master Ball because everybody uses the Master Ball. I'm going to be the contrarian. It took 10 minutes to catch Mewtwo with Ultra Balls.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Maybe Gen 1 you might need sleep. I don't know if paralysis will work.
No, paralysis works.
Okay, alright.
It just needs to be a status condition.
Yeah.
Which is why I usually stick with paralysis for like a Thunder Wave or Nuzzle or something. Because it stays on the Pokemon, you don't have to keep reapplying sleep, even though sleep does technically have a 0.5 addition to paralysis.
It's hard to get a fast sleep user is the thing, and sleep also can miss is the thing.
Yeah.
So if you so the only sleep move that has a 100% chance of activating is Spore, and as far as I can remember, the only 2 Pokemon that learn Spore are Parasect and the Shroomish line. I think there's probably others since, but I can't.
Well, no, Yawn technically is 100%, but it's a second turn deal.
Yeah, so
those
you
are
can't...
Pokemon that you're going to be carrying into the final dungeon.
Well, I do use I have a level 100 Parasect that I use just for catching Pokemon because it can know false swipe.
Parasect isn't bad. It's just
it can know false swipe, Spore, and then you can also for older games have Cut and Flash, making it the perfect Pokemon catching Pokemon.
Well, when you're going through the game the first time that you play it, completely blind without a guide and no meta knowledge of the game going in, you're probably not going to be carrying those Pokemon with you.
Yeah, especially since the Shroomish line. Shroomish is evolved form as Breloom, and I love Breloom. Breloom's a great Pokemon, grass fighting, awesome stuff. Shroomish is the only one that learned Spore. It learns Spore at level 40, and it evolves at level 26 or something.
Oh, it's one of those Pokemon that you have to hold off evolving to learn things? That's something that you're never going to do when you're playing blind.
Nope. So, yeah.
Either that or you have to wait until level 50 or 62, depending on the gen.
Yeah.
It looks like, because this Spore is learned by Parasect, Shroomish, Fungus, Amoongus.
Oh, those guys suck.
Morlul, and Shiinotic?
Shiinotic,
those are gens.
They're all mushroom Pokemon, basically. So, what we're saying here is that Mario naps a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Lunal, do you have nothing with Paralyze on your team?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Because I actually wanted Vigavolt's moveset to actually be good.
Oh, good point. Yeah, because Lunala is not being nice to you right now.
No, like I said, its catch rate is significantly higher than it was in older games, so I figured I would be fine without it.
Yeah, what's actually interesting is that in Black and White 1, Zekrom/Reshiram, whichever one it is for your version, is a required catch. So if you run out, if you kill it, the battle will restart. If you run out of Pokeballs, N will give you more Pokeballs. And its catch rate is specifically higher for that one fight. And the only way that you can skip catching it is if all of your boxes are full. And even then, after the fact, it'll be on Dragon Spiral Tower, and you can catch it there if you remove something later. But in later versions, like in the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon Warp Ride stuff, or the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire wormhole thingy, their catch rate's back down to 3, so they're just as annoying as everything else.
Excellent.
Oh, okay, good. You named it Nebby. I did that.
You have to name it Nebby.
Yeah. The thing is, though, the first time I played the game, I forgot whether it was NEBBY or NEBBIE.
Oh.
And so it was Nebby, the wrong Nebby.
It's not Nebby anymore. No, I'm Nebby.
Identity crisis.
No longer Homer J. Simpson. I'm Homer J. Simpson.
J. Simpson.
So yeah, we now have a legendary on our team, and I'm going to use it mostly because the game's not terribly hard anyway, and we don't have much of the game left anyway. Because you can literally, at this point, you can literally just fly to the Elite Floor. You're done with the game at this point.
Which, you know what? Here's the thing, and this is not just Ultra Sun. I'm sorry, a Gen 7 thing. In a lot of the games, I feel like the story ends at whatever the end of the legendary counter is. And then you go on for another 3 hours to finish the game because of
Elite Four. That's all just like a formality at this point.
Yeah, like I'm gonna bring up Gen 4 again. Oh no! Like there's a huge level bump after you finish the
You're not even at the final gym at that point.
Yeah, there's a huge level bump, and so like the last final bit of the game, which is one gym in the Elite Four, is like a good 6 hours just grinding because you're probably like level 40 when you finish all of the Team Galactic stuff, and everything there is like in the 50s and up.
Yeah, Volkner is surprisingly hard for that game.
Yeah, and then God, why was I gonna call
Cynthia.
her Christina? Cynthia is, so yeah. Oh hi, Nanu.
How did you get here? What are you doing here?
I walked
over the water.
I have my ways.
You know what? I'm actually imagining him like there's a bunch of Magikarp on all of the water, and he's just stepping on each of them across the entire way.
Yeah, just use them as stepping stones.
Yeah, basically.
So now he gives you the option to go with him, which will teleport you right there, or you can say no and just go there yourself.
But then you have
in case you want to do something else, but it's like there's nothing else to do at this point.
You see, that would be more useful in the older game, because here you can fly without a Pokemon who knows fly. That would be more useful in the older games where, if you don't have a Pokemon with fly, then that... I think they definitely started doing that in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and I can't remember for the life of me whether or not that was a thing in X and Y. It definitely wasn't in the Black and White games, though. So, oh, hi.
I don't think it was in X and Y.
Okay, because I know that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they're like, hey, do you want us to take you to Where's Its Place? And that's actually surprisingly helpful if you don't have a Pokemon with fly in your team, although you really should.
Our final battle with Hedgie the Hedgie.
That was abrupt.
Gladian, your headache probably isn't going to get any better if you're not wearing a hat in this cold weather. You have no one but yourself to blame.
High reuse character growth Pokemon.
Yeah, basically. He's trying to be the rival, essentially, here. Yeah. Which, whatever.
I mean, you can use that if you want, Gladian. I'm using a legendary Pokemon here. What chance do you have?
To be fair, though, we've all done... I try to stray away from using legendaries now, but we've all...
Oh, no, I usually don't in my main files anymore.
Yeah, but I've done it. Like, in my first Sapphire run, I used Kyogre, and the Elite Four standed no chance against me. Oh, yeah, now Silvally is also...
It's evolved.
Yeah, I think its type is based off of... Its, like, held item type is based off of...
It's Arceus.
Yeah, yeah, but I think which one it has is based off of which trainer you which Pokemon you picked. So it's fire, I think, here because you picked...
Yeah, because I chose Rowlet.
Yeah. You can tell by what color its thingies are.
Mm-hmm. However, since it's fire type now... although I'm going to revive Nebby for experience points reasons.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the one thing about legendaries, though, is that their experience growth sucks. You're going to spend forever. Although they're always at such a high level that it usually doesn't matter. In Emerald, I think you still catch Rayquaza at level 70 before the story ends.
Which is higher than every single Pokemon in the Elite Four.
So there's really no reason why you shouldn't.
You don't need to level it up anymore.
No. I think it's... Okay, no, it's not higher than Steven's Pokemon, but it's pretty close. So...
Yeah. I mean, you might need a little bit of level up depending on... I forget what level Deoxys is in Episode Delta.
God, I never got that far, so I don't even really know.
I think it's like 75 or 80.
When I look at this Pokemon, my thought is always of those, one of those merged animal Greek abominations, chimeras, and all the other things.
That's actually what it's going for. Yes.
Yeah. This is his other Pokemon that he had earlier, just with its mask taken off.
So what is it?
It's
what is it
rooster.
It's type null. With its mask was like a restraining bolt kind of thing. Because, they needed to keep it under control or whatever. This is actually something I've seen through anime clips that I like a lot, where its mask breaks, and that's essentially its evolution. And it's actually really cool, because it happens on screen during a team, Aether Paradise kind of moment, and it's actually really cool. But here, it just kind of happens off screen, and it's not as interesting. So,
right.
Yeah.
But that's not what I was asking. What I was asking is, what is it? What is it comprised of? Is it a rooster, lizard, dog?
It's lots of things.
They don't ever really go into detail about it. Like, it seems to be, it would have actually, I think, been a little bit cooler if they tried to make it more obvious that it was specific Pokemon stitched together as opposed to random animals. Because then it would be like, okay, we're handpicking the best Pokemon for fighting Ultra Beasts, and we're stitching them together Frankenstein style. That, I think, because there aren't really any specific elements from any one Pokemon that I can really pin down on it. So, it's supposed to look weird, but I don't think that I don't really know if there's any specific stuff that you're supposed to be able to pull.
It looks like it's got like a rooster head, a lizard front legs, a dog body, some sort of fish fin on the back. It's very strange.
Yes.
It's got a lot of things. Special Z move time. Oh, he's using it first, apparently. Full force Z move.
Oh, he's using the steel one. Okay. I thought for a moment that he was going to do the fighting Z move, and then it would have been wasted.
Which would have no effect on me, yeah. And I survive. Oh, you're fucked now, son.
Don't they have an exclusive
give you the Ooga Booga.
What?
Don't Lunala and
I don't think you can get them until the end of the game.
Ah, okay.
Never Ending Nightmare. What is your Freddy Krueger? What the fuck is the name of that move?
And you're dead.
We're the good guys, I swear.
Yeah, but he was a jerk, so he deserves it.
He's also trying way too hard to be edgy to hedgy.
From a certain point of view.
Damn it, Obi-Wan.
Now stitch up that cut in the front of your sweatshirt. It's been there for like 5 months.
And get some goddamn aspirin.
It's not actually a rip in his sweatshirt. It's a painted on drawing of one. So are the ones on his pants and sleeves.
He didn't even cut them up with scissors. He drew.
So he's the kind of guy that won't wear the jeans with the torn up kneecaps, but he'll have it painted on to make it look like.
Yeah, he doesn't want his knees to be cold, John.
It's like
look, it's snowing out.
It's like the Alone in the Dark reboot. They just sort of patch pictures of wounds on top of your jacket to make it look like your character's injured.
No, I think my favorite of that is it'll always be Resident Evil 2 when Leon gets damaged in the second half of the game. So put the bandages over his RPD uniform. Sure, why not?
They didn't teach first aid on day 1 of training, John. Yeah. He's doing the best he can. Okay, he's new.
he didn't patch himself up. Ada did, but she's
then they didn't teach. They didn't teach. They didn't teach first aid on the first day of Super Spy training.